What are some NSFW secrets about the military? When I checked into Fort Bragg in 2011, the very first thing I was told in the in-processing brief was, "Welcome to Fort Bragg. We have the most male-on-male rapes and sexual assaults in the nation." The very first thing they told me. Suicides are at times covered up. Calling a product military grade is not the compliment that most think it is. You have to show your SS hole to one of the oldest doctors on the planet before they let you join. I think it is a commitment thing. I don't know how much of a secret it is, but if you're in the military or married to the military, the odds of you being cheated on sexually, or being the cheater, increase drastically compared to your civilian peers. That is classified. Go to Discord. Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. The amount of waste, fraud and abuse is exponentially more than you think. I don't know if this qualifies as NSFW or is unique to the military, but when you are required to provide a urine sample, it must be witnessed by another service member. So, on any given day, since it's random, you might be called to pee into a cup while another person stares at your junk. I once got called for urinalysis on a day when I had terrible diarrhea. The observer had to watch me hit just in case I was also able to pee in the cup. I was dehydrated, so it took a long time to finally pee. In addition to watching me hit liquid, this dude had to look at my ick 3 or 4 different times. It was a bad day for both OFUs. Edit. Thanks for the awards. Never thought my top comment would be about hitting during urinalysis. A friend of mine in the Special Forces told me since they are out in the field a lot, they get plenty of ticks. And while you can inspect yourself fairly good, you can't inspect everything, so they peer up and spread their cheeks, and your mate has to stare into your news to check you for ticks in there. Not very glamorous. The amount of unreported injuries to doc or to command, thus leading to lifelong issues. On the other hand, if you do go to doc about an issue, you'll be berated and told you are lying about an issue to get out of duty. PT. Was ignored and told I was lying about back, sciatic issues for months by doc. Jumped chain of command. Went to my captain, had an MRI, x-rays of my lower back, and a month later had a microdiscectomy of MYL5. Damage was done. Medically ineligible to enlist 7 years later, and have to get a spinal fusion due to severe disc degeneration and chronic sciatic pain and permanent nerve damage. Apparently straight Marines do gayer hit than people who are actually gay. We had female soldiers committing their own prostitution. They had a code and everything. If a girl at the coffee shop was wearing PTs and a pink PT belt, she was down to UCK for money. One or more of these girls contracted a disease, and next thing you know there is a base-wide epidemic, and I still remember a commissioned doctor coming into the break area screaming, "If I have to look at one more ucking dirty ick, I'm quitting, UCK it." People be ucking, like, all the time. Deployment wives, husbands are athing. Also, people play a lot of ridiculous pranks and pull a lot of silly stunts. On my last deployment we had a phantom hitter. Just some guy, or girl, they never got found out. Who would hit in random spaces? I had a friend who was a really dark-skinned black dude. At night, when we were only running red lights, he'd hide under the stairs to the boat locker right in front of the door to sonar one and wait until someone was nearly face-to-face with him on, then he'd smile. All you'd see is this perfect set of red teeth all disembodied like the Cheshire Cat. Freaked me the UCK out first time he got me with it. One time we were in pretty rough seas and the ship was rocking pretty hard. Now, on the main deck there's only 3 hallways that run across the ship. The longest one was midship and was where our choline was. People were sliding up and down that P-way with the rocking of the ship. It was pretty wild. What we sonar techs would do is get in our trunk, imagine an elevator shaft with a ladder that connects 4 levels, and time a jump so that when the ship crested a wave and if you timed it right you could jump up to the next room. My LPO made it like 3 floors once. If the ship has a swim call, meaning everyone can swim in the ocean while at sea, there'd be a couple of people with rifles on shark watch. If there is an ice cream social for no reason you're going to get bad news. Except for when they finally got Bin Laden. Edit. Forgot to add that I went to electronics school with a guy whose last name was Sample. So he was literally Seaman Sample. Don't let your daughters join any branch of the military. Just don't. It's literally just high school with guns. No ear protection on the range? Just shove your fingers in your ears. Also, safety squints work if you're fast enough. You have a higher chance of shooting yourself than someone else. The IT is far less cutting edge than you think. Loots of chlamydia. The amount of unreported rapes, both on base in peacetime and also raping civilians as a war crime. It's seen throughout history. Gay chicken. Not sure how prevalent it is now, but 20 years ago it was pretty common to see two guys kissing just to see who would blink first and pull back. Never advanced to full-on gay ex-a-fake, but I witnessed more than one op getting pulled out before the other person backed down. Swingers exist on every single base in the world. In Sigonella, they would use different boxes of detergent in the windows to show what they were into and what age range they were looking for. Patrolling the housing area became much more interesting when you see who lives in the house and what they're into. The amount of people who get sick and tired of being in the service who will go out and do some drug or another to get kicked out. During our Iraq-Afghanistan years, you wouldn't believe how many people would purposely ISS HOTOR. Females would intentionally get pregnant to get out of going. A lot of guys will use all sorts of pills and pumps in order to juice their stats on ENS inspection day. The food boxes that come in literally say, for prison and military use only. Our computers don't look or function anything like they do in the movies. It takes me 15 minutes to a half hour to log into my computer, and when I do, good luck opening Outlook or anything else. This is well known amongst all service members. The worst computers I've ever used in any job. The reason this is NSFW is because the military needs to have functioning computers, and not having that can make our work literally not safe. For thousands of years, prostitutes would follow militaries because they were young and all male. What is the one thing you do on Friday to start your weekend properly? On Fridays I microdose my PTO by kinda doing nothing for 30 minutes at a time. Edit. These better have been free awards. Every Friday night, I camp downstairs with my 2 young children. We make beds on the sofas, watch a film and enjoy a nice supper. In a few short years I know they'll not think it's that great to hang out with Dad. On Friday I do favors for future me so that I can actually have a fun weekend. I wrap up my workday writing a checklist for Monday and close all browser tabs so I can check out mentally. I do online grocery shopping so I have the foods. I start the laundry and figure out the house, family plans, logistics for the weekend. Sometimes it's a drag when I'm tired, but it helps future me out a lot. Edit. You can scale this down from the week to the day as well. I do dishes at night because future me can wake up to a clean kitchen in the morning. Imake my bed in the morning because future me really likes getting into a made-up bed in a clean room when I want to turn off. Alternatively, when current me is too physically or mentally tired to do favors for future me, and I wake up to a sink full of dirty dishes I was too tired to do, then even though it's not my favorite, I look back and say, well, past me had it a bit rough last evening and I needed to rest. Have empathy for yourselves, people. In the IT world we have read-only Fridays. If you don't change anything on Friday, then you won't need to fix it on Saturday. For me, I end the day by emailing myself a list of all the things I'm in the middle of or need to get done next. Then I can clear my mind and know I can hit the ground running on Monday again. Clock into work and get ready for everyone else in the world who is off work the next 2 days to come eat at my restaurant. Then I'm off on a Tuesday and everyone looks at me like I have no job. Get really high and eat like 4,000 calories. What is something people describe as healthy, but it's actually unhealthy? Detox, cleanse regimens. Now I won't say it's particularly unhealthy, because they'll hunt me down and kill me, but the pro-weed crowd acts like it is a miracle drug with no downsides. Fact of the matter is, it does cause anxiety and delusional episodes in some people, EDIT. To people acting like they agree with me but then saying stuff about the pro-weed crowd like, they act like it's better than alcohol, tobacco. If we do believe it isn't as bad as those substances are well and truly dangerous. I'm all for the legalization of weed, I just think we can't ignore the downsides. People should be able to take these things knowing the full extent of the risks and implications. All we have to do is be logical and realistic. We can't get tribal or reactionary, which is something the pro-weed movement has done. Most healthy branded juices, a lot of them contain more sugar than the average soda. Do your research before buying these products, or just invest in a juicer. Complaining about every possible thing and calling it venting. Wine culture for moms, edit. Yes, beer culture for dad, too. I'm not picking on women. I'm talking about how we, as a culture, push wine culture versus addressing the root problem of how overwhelmed and alone moms are. This isn't entirely the same thing, but I absolutely can't stand when people use the word healthy or nutritious when they mean low calorie, or the reverse, when people say unhealthy when they mean calorie dense. The nutrient content of food has absolutely nothing to do with its caloric content. There's nothing healthy about a gallon of sugar-free iced tea, and there's nothing unhealthy about an avocado or a handful of walnuts. You know, unless you have a nut allergy. Every single time I tell someone I'm trying to eat healthier, I get, "Oh well, you shouldn't be eating nuts, have a Diet Coke instead." Words mean things, people. You know we upped up somewhere when a 2L of Diet Mountain Dew is considered healthier than Abbott potato. It's right up there with, "You don't need to eat healthy, you're not fat." It's like we've simultaneously gaslit ourselves into believing that the two states of man are fat and healthy, and that if you're not in the fat category you deserve to reward yourself by being unhealthy on purpose. It's no wonder kids have so many eating disorders. Most healthy foods as tagged by the people who buy it, and that's because it sounds like that. Here we had a new law that makes consumables show a tag that says if they have an excess of something, and who would have guessed, the ones called healthy are the ones that have the most tags. Açaí. In Brazil people accept that it's a dessert, not a superfood. Edited to add. By this I mean açaí bowls, smoothies with sugary add-ins, not the berry by itself or in minimally processed forms. I apologize for any confusion. Fat-free. This term usually hides the fact that it's fattening.